Hello and welcome back to the channel, fam. I am your host Vortex from MobileMusicPro.com, your home for mobile music production. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Steinberg's latest DAW for the iPhone and iPad, Cubasis 3. We'll be showing you how to route in and record audio from two of the most popular mixing apps in the App Store, AUM and Audiobus. Now, these apps are pretty similar, with each one having their own trade-offs of ups and downs, so we actually tend to use them for slightly different purposes here at Mobile Music Pro. But they can both accommodate many of the same workflows and use cases. And also, this just in, it looks like we just crossed over 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And we just wanted to say thank you guys so much. We very much appreciate it, and we couldn't do it without you. Now, we're still sort of debating on what to call our Patreons and our followers, but I think for now we're sticking with the Mobile Army. But definitely comment below if you guys have a better idea. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoy content like this. And let's keep building this mobile army of producers and get more and more people into mobile music production. So without further ado, let's get into how to record audio into Cubasis 3 with Audiobus and AUM. So before we get started today, we did think that it was very important to mention that we do have a Cubasis 3 overview video already recorded here on the channel. Because in this video, we're just going to be actually recording in from AUM and Audiobus. So if you want a little bit more in-depth information on Cubasis 3, make sure to check out that video. And of course, we'll have a link to that video in the description below. Okay, the first app we're going to be talking about today is AUM, Audio Mixer by Kymatica AB, going for $18.99 in the App Store. Now, AUM is a flexible audio mixer, recorder, and connection hub for your iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch. But you can route anything to anywhere with mix buses, effect sends, audio bus ports, and external multi-channel audio interfaces. Now, some people pronounce this app in different ways. Some say AUM and other pronunciations like that, but we're just going to stick to saying it out by spelling the letters with AUM. So here we have AUM pulled up first, but before we actually do anything in here, before we reload a session or before we add a new track, we're actually going to go and open up Cubasis 3. So from within Cubasis 3, you can see that we have a blank project pulled up here. And the first thing that we're going to do is add the 3 tracks that we need, because we are going to be recording in audio from 3 separate tracks. So first, let's go ahead and click Add, and then we'll click Audio. And we'll click Add Audio a couple more times so we can have 3 different tracks here. We'll go to track 1, as it's highlighted here by the mixer. We'll go to the routing, and we're going to change this here. We're going to change from mono input into inter-app, and we're going to choose port 1 on AUM. Now, if you have AUM installed, you will see these 8 ports pulled up. And if you do not have AUM installed, you won't see these ports. So let's go ahead and click on AUM port 1. And this will bring you right back into AUM, but we don't really want to go back into AUM just yet. So we'll go back to Cubasis 3, and we'll repeat the process that we did for track 1. So we'll go to the routing and change the mono input to inter-app, and this time AUM port 2. And it'll bring back AUM. We'll go back to Cubasis 3, and we'll repeat this process one more time for track 3. We'll click on the stereo input, we'll click on Inter-App Audio, and select AUM port 3. And of course, it will bring up AUM. So if we go back to Cubasis 3 and we take a look at what we have here, we can see we have these 3 tracks routed into AUM. So what that means is that any audio that's going to come into AUM is going to also be routed here. But we're not quite finished yet because we don't have any audio coming in from AUM. So let's go ahead and go to AUM, and we'll begin pulling up something in here. So let's go ahead and click on the plus to add a new audio track. And for the instrument, let's go ahead and choose Future Drummer. So we'll go to Inter-App Audio, and there it is, Future Drummer. We'll choose Future Drummer, and then here comes the magic. We will choose, instead of the USB output directly, to be going to the Inter-App Audio and into the Cubasis connected port 1. As you can see, Cubasis has 3 different ports that are connected to AUM currently, and those ports are output 1, 2, and 3. Now, we only have 1 actually created in AUM so far, so obviously 2 and 3 won't output anything yet. So let's go ahead and choose output 1. Now we have Future Drummer going directly into Cubasis 3. So let's repeat that process for another instrument. We'll go ahead and click plus and click audio. We'll click plus on the source, and this time we'll choose audio unit. Synthmaster Player by KV Audio. We'll pull that up. Alright, looks good. Let's choose a bass preset, and let's choose the AR high and low. Close out of that. And once again, we have to route this audio into Cubasis, so we'll choose the USB at the bottom, and we will choose Interrupt Audio, and we will route this into port 2. Let's just double check that Cubasis has that audio coming through it. As you can see, we have the audio coming into track 2. Let's go back to AUM. So far we've routed the Future Drummer and Synthmaster Player into Cubasis. Let's go ahead and route one final app. We'll click plus, we'll click audio, we'll click the source, and we will choose audio unit extensions. Let's try the new Magellan AUV3 app. Magellan 2, a remake of the original Magellan that launched way back when the iPads first came out. Let's pull that up and choose a preset. We'll go to the pads and we'll go to the cloak or robe. Before we test that, we're going to go ahead and mute our Synthmaster Player so that we don't get any interference. Let's go ahead and route this into Cubasis 3. We'll choose the USB and we'll choose the Interrupt Audio and route to port 3. We now have all three of these apps routed into Cubasis 3. So let's go ahead and try to record something. Let's mute the Magellan and unmute the Synthmaster Player. And let's go ahead and make sure that everything is set to the left. We'll make sure that we're all the way to the left in AUM. We'll make sure we're all the way to the beginning at Cubasis 3. And we'll just go on to Cubasis 3 to double check. Yep, we are all the way at the beginning. And as you can see, within Cubasis 3, we have a 4-bar loop set. So let's go ahead and go back to AUM and begin recording the Future Drummer loop. To do that, we'll click the record here on AUM, and then we'll click play to trigger the Future Drummer. Okay, now that has been recorded, so let's go ahead and double check. We'll go click the back to go to the beginning, and we'll open up Cubasis. And as you can see, we recorded a little bit over there. We overdubbed a little, so we'll just erase that overdub. And here you can see our original drum track ready to go. So let's go ahead and play it. Alright, that sounds good. Now that that is ready to go, we can go ahead and go back to AUM. And we can actually mute this track if we'd like, since this has already been recorded. And now let's go ahead and record in some bass from the Synthmaster Player. We'll hit the back button here to make sure we're at the beginning of AUM, hit the back button here to make sure we're at the beginning of Cubasis. And before we try to record something, let's just go make sure that our track is in fact armed inside Cubasis. So let's go to Cubasis. So as you can see, track 2 is not yet armed. We have the setting within Cubasis 3 to arm whatever track we select. So we'll go ahead and select track 2. And as you can see, that has armed track 2 for recording and disarmed track 1 and 3 for recording. So let's go back to AUM and let's try to record something. Alright, let's just go back and double check our recorded file within Cubasis 3. And we'll get rid of the overdubs here. And here we are with the final audio result. And let's go ahead and play that back. Alright, that sounds good. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to AUM3. And prepare our third track for recording. Okay, so before we go and record Magellan, let's go ahead and mute Synthmaster since we don't need that anymore. And we'll unmute Magellan, see what that sounds like. Okay, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and make sure that we're ready to record. We'll go back on AUM to the beginning and back on Cubasis 3 to the beginning. And let's make sure that our track is armed in Cubasis 3. We'll choose track 3, ready to record. We'll go back to AUM and let's go ahead and record something. recorded. Let's double check in Cubasis 3. We'll remove the overdubs, and we are left with our final audio file here. So let's go ahead and play this back. And as you can see, all three of those tracks were recorded successfully. And the next app we're going to be using to route audio into Cubasis 3 today is Audiobus. Audiobus by Audiobus Pty Limited, going for $9.99 in the App Store. Now, with Audiobus, you can open up new worlds of creative music-making possibilities, and it's the musical hub that lets you use your compatible music apps together, just like virtual cables. Okay, so we have the Audiobus interface pulled up here, and as you can see, it's pretty simple. We have some tabs on the bottom left-hand corner, such as MIDI, Audio, and Mixer. We're in the Audio tab currently. To go to the MIDI, we click on the MIDI tab, which will bring up a menu for you to be able to add MIDI effects. We're not going to be discussing MIDI effects in this video, so we'll go to the Audio tab for now. So let's add our first app now and get that routed into Cubasis 3. So we'll click on the plus button on the input section, and we're going to choose Groovebox for our first app. And it says tap to launch, so we'll do that now. And once that app has fully launched, Audiobus will bring us right back into the Audiobus app. We now have an audio source, which is Groovebox, so let's go ahead and set an audio destination to Cubasis 3. We'll click on the plus button and select Cubasis 3. And we'll tap to launch Cubasis 3. As you can see, Audiobus has now created a track within Cubasis 3 called Groovebox. And Audiobus brings up our menu on the right-hand side where we can easily access Audiobus and all the apps that Audiobus is using. So let's test now that we have the audio coming from Groovebox into Cubasis 3. We'll tap the Groovebox button on the right-hand side and click play. And we'll click our mixer to make sure we have the audio coming in. As you can see, we have the audio being routed into Cubasis 3 now from Audiobus. So let's go back to Audiobus and take a look at the mixer. As you can see, the mixer option is now ready to go at the bottom of the screen. We'll tap the mixer. Here you can adjust your audio and set that to be lower or higher. It also has some other familiar transport controls such as mute, solo, and play. So let's click on play now to see the audio come through Audiobus. Once you're happy with the volume, we'll go back to the audio. So now we can see that we're ready to record our audio. So let's tap on Cubasis. Make sure we have at least 4 bars ready to loop, as you can see we do here. Let's make sure our track is armed by clicking the arm button here to make sure that that is red. And we're going to click on the record button and then click on the play button to record in the audio from Groovebox. So let's do that now. Let's get rid of this overdub and check the audio that we've recorded. Alright, that audio has been recorded in. Now let's begin recording in the next track. So to do that, we'll go back to Audiobus and we will add another track. We'll click the plus button. We'll search for Synthmaster. But before we route this into Cubasis 3, let's just make sure that we do have sound by testing it with our MIDI keyboard. Alright, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and route this into Cubasis 3. We'll click plus and choose Cubasis 3 again. And now we are ready to record. So let's go back into Cubasis 3. As you can see, a new track was created called Synthmaster Player, and it is armed and ready to record. Let's go ahead and unarm the first track, because we're no longer going to be recording into that track. Let's set Cubasis 3 to the very beginning. So as you can see, that has been recorded in. Please excuse the lag. There is definitely a little bit of latency here on this older iPad as we are running an original iPad Pro from 2016. And now we are ready to record our third track. So let's go back to Audiobus and add a third app in here. We'll click the plus button. And we're going to add in the Bismarck BS16. Great sample app, got a bunch of different samples in there. And let's make sure that we route to Cubasis 3. We'll click tap and send the output destination to Cubasis 3. But before we test this, let's go ahead and mute the synth player since they are both using the same master keyboard. We'll go to the mixer and we'll mute the synth player. Now, of course, we can just remove this as well, but we're going to keep this in here for demonstration purposes. So let's go back to the audio and test the Bismarck app with our MIDI keyboard. That seems to be working just fine. Let's go ahead and tap Cubasis 3 to get back to the DAW. And as you can see, once again, Audiobus has created a brand new track with the same name as the track in Audiobus. We'll make sure that we're at the beginning of the Cubasis track by clicking the left-hand button on the top of the screen. And let's go ahead and record something in. So as you can see, we have our audio file here. So as you can see, Audiobus makes it pretty easy to record audio into Cubasis 3. Now, once your audio has been successfully recorded into Cubasis 3, Cubasis does provide a number of options for you to modify that audio. So to show you what we mean, let's click on the first track and then click on Insert Effects. So as you can see, the two default insert effects that Cubasis 3 inserts on every track is the Channel Strip and Studio EQ, both of which you'll notice are not enabled by default. So to enable the effect, we click on the on and off button to the left of the name of the effect. To view the settings for each effect, we would click on the actual E to the right-hand side of the name of the effect. Now if we take a look at the channel strip, we can see that it comes with a variety of built-in effects such as noise gate, compressor, and saturator. You can see that Cubasis comes with a variety of factory presets to accommodate almost every kind of instrument and workflow. So you can see presets for bass, for drums, like kicks and snares, for loops, for electric bass guitars, leads, synthesizers, and more. Now the same holds true for their Studio EQ. As we mentioned, all of the internal effects from Cubasis comes with these professional presets. So if we tap into the Studio EQ and click on Factory Presets, we can see that again, a number of factory presets all ready to accommodate a variety of different instruments and workflows. So you can see here we have the EQ settings for the acoustic guitars, drums, kicks, pianos, basses, cellos, guitars, and more. Cubasis 3 also comes with a powerful audio editor, which we can enable by just double tapping on any one of these audio files. So we'll just double tap on the first track, which brings up our audio editor. At the top of the window, you'll notice the easy to use options such as trim, reverse, normalize, fade in, and fade out. We can also save this audio file to our library at any time by clicking on the To Media. Cubasis 3 also comes with a variety of audio editing options built right into the region. So as with most DAWs, we can fade in and fade out a clip simply by dragging the top left-hand grip to the right. We can also fade out a clip by dragging the top right-hand grip to the left. And you can adjust the volume of this clip simply by dragging the top center grip up and down. So as you can see, it's super easy to record in audio and modify that audio and then apply professional effects on top. Welcome back, fam. We really hope you enjoyed that video, and we really hope that you have a little bit better idea now of how Cubasis 3 works. Cubasis 3 just shipped their very first update, which fixes a bunch of different bugs, and the next update should include a brand new version of the mini sampler, which really over the years has left a little bit to be desired in the feature area. So we're really looking forward to see how Steinberg improves this very important feature of any DAW, the sampler. And also make sure that you're subscribed because we have a lot more Cubasis 3 content to come on this channel, both for beginners and veterans alike. We'll be doing videos on mixing, processing vocals, and a variety of different production tutorials all focused around Cubasis 3. So make sure to hit that thumbs up if you enjoy content like this and want to see more. And until next time, everybody, keep talking music, and we'll see you later.